Welcome to the Law Firm Practice Management Advice Podcast.
The fundamentals of business.
Join Kirk Stange of Stange Law Firm as he discusses helpful strategies, tools, and insights to grow and manage a legal practice.
Good ideas are simple.
From improving client relationships to managing your team and scaling your practice, this podcast offers practical advice for navigating the challenges of law firm management.
Shall we proceed?
Now, here's your host, Kirk Stange.
Welcome to Law Firm Practice Management Advice. We have an interesting topic today. The topic is the use of press releases in law firm marketing. And this episode today is based on an article on my blog, lawfirmpracticemanagementadvice.com, dated July 22nd, 2025. And the title of the article is, Are Press Releases an Effective Marketing Strategy? So as a follow-up to the episode today, going over to my blog and read this article for more information on this topic. But let's go ahead and jump on in. The use of press releases is pretty common amongst law firms. Many law firms, particularly savvy ones, are going to use press releases for various reasons. Obviously, the use of press releases can be different for different law firms, but it could be announcements of new employees who've been hired and joined a particular law firm. I mean, that's a very common press release that I see. If a law firm is opening a new office, they might release a press release announcing the opening of the new office. If lawyers at the firm are teaching continuing legal education seminars for other lawyers, they might want to announce that through a press release. Other things I've seen is the release of books written by lawyers or partners in a law firm. That could be a good press release. And another very common press release is when lawyers receive awards of various kinds, whether it be super lawyers, best lawyers in America, or maybe somebody's AV rated by Martindale-Hubbell or something like that. They'll do a press release and submit it to announce it. So again, this is very, very common. And really the question at hand is, how helpful are press releases for a law firm? Is this an aid? Is this something that lawyers and law firms that don't do press releases ought to begin doing? And what are the pros and what are the cons of issuing press releases on behalf of the law firm, okay? Again, one of the biggest pros, one of the biggest reasons to do press releases would be to make the public or the legal community aware of something that's taken place within a law firm, okay? These good things that take place in a law firm, issue a press release, put it out there, let people know. It could even be a case decision, right? A law firm got a good jury verdict or they won an appellate decision. Obviously, law firms can't breach attorney-client privilege or confidentiality, but if these are publicly reported opinions or cases, then they might want to submit a press release talking about their case results or something like that. All right? The hope, at least it ought to be the hope of a law firm when they issue a press release, is that other news sources will pick it up. Right, so other news sources will share the press release on their news platform. It could be other newspapers, it could be other magazines, it could be other web pages. But the hope is once that press release is released, then like putting fertilizer on a lawn, the message spreads and it goes throughout the internet and even social media, right? Theoretically, somebody could see a press release and share it on their social media platform, and then other people could share it and like it and comment on it or whatnot. And that's the hope. Most law firms, when you issue a press release, want somebody to do something with it out on the internet because that helps spread the word. Another thing that a press release can do is help somewhat with a law firm search engine optimization, okay? And this is commonly referred to as the acronym SEO. So when a press release is released, typically, right, there's typewritten language within the press release explaining the reason for the release. Typically, the law firm's going to have backlinks in the press release going to their law firm's webpage or maybe some other webpage like the award webpage. Or the book webpage or the CLE webpage or you name it, showing more about the announcement. So people can click these links and they can read more. But if the press releases have links going back to law firm's webpage, theoretically that could help the law firm's webpage rank higher, and it could help the specific pages that have the links to them, and this would be called a deep link. It could help these deep link pages then show up higher. Obviously, the hope as well is that individuals are going to come across a press release just naturally or organically online. They're going to see it on a news site, or they're going to see it in the search engine results, and they're then going to want to reach out to the law firm for the law firm services. So obviously, press releases can help a law firm get more clients theoretically. All right, so these would all be reasons to do press releases. And so if you're a lawyer, if you own a law firm and you've never done a press release, you ought to think about doing it. There's certainly some upside to doing press releases, and if you never do press releases, then it's going to be hard to get the word out in a lot of respects, all right? But I do want to cover the downsides of press releases because there are some drawbacks. First, depending on who you use to do the press release, they can be pretty expensive. And, if you go to my article and you click the link that says can be expensive, you can see some of the options that are out there. But law firms can spend hundreds of bucks on a press release. They can spend more than $1,000 probably. It depends who they use, how much syndication they want to get. So press releases can be pretty darn expensive. And for law firms that are budget crunched, they don't have a lot of cash, they might not want to spend the money on press releases. All right, so that can obviously be a big drawback. Another thing is this: I talked about the search engine optimization standpoint, or the benefit of a press release in terms of helping search engine optimization. But the only thing I will tell you all is that links from press releases are typically no-follow links. And I know this is very much in the weeds. And for those of you that don't know a lot about search engine optimization, maybe you're not going to fully grasp this, okay? But there's certain links on the internet that are do-follow links. And do-follow links have great value if they come from a trustworthy source. In other words, there's link juice that goes back to the web page. That link juice can help the web page rank a whole lot higher. Typically organic links from newspapers, news sites, legal articles. Organic links, meaning non-paid links, can have great value for a law firm, particularly if the source is credible, they've got good trust flow, and these backlinks, again, create like the link juice to the web page, causes the law firm web page to rank a lot higher. But the truth is, press release backlinks, normally not very good. These are typically no-follow links, which means at best what it does is really help the search engines notice the web page. So it creates kind of a social bookmark, if you will, but there's no real link juice in press releases. And so while it can help search engine optimization wise, it doesn't help a ton, right? At times I'll see law firm web pages and they'll have somewhere in the web page all the news sites they've been, right? They'll have the logo of X, Y, and Z news source, and they'll say, we've been on X, Y, and Z news source. See, we're a big deal. And the reality is, if they were on those news sites through a press release, it's like, okay, you paid to be there and you have a link from that web page, but it's no follow, so it's not going to help a whole lot. Whereas if you contrast it with a situation where a news paper writer or somebody who works for a magazine, they're a writer, if they organically call your law firm and they want you to be quoted for X, Y, and Z article, and they organically give you a link, typically that link will be a do-follow link, and that's going to help you a whole lot more than a no-follow link from a press release, okay? Another drawback about press releases, I talked about this before. You want other news sources to pick up the press release. You want them to share the press release, put it on their news site. And again, it's like fertilizer on a lawn, and the word gets out. The truth is, if I'm just being honest, most law firm press releases are kind of looked at as boring. And so a lot of news sites aren't going to pick them up. So you could feel great about being a super lawyer or best lawyers in America, and you issue a press release. But don't assume other news sources are going to want to pick it up. From my vantage point, they'll pick it up if it's something really interesting. right? Something really interesting, something really rare happened, then maybe they'll pick it up. But if it's just the normal run-of-the-mill, you hire this lawyer or that lawyer, you open this office or that office, you got this award or that award, don't expect a lot of other news sites to pick it up. If you expect it and you spent hundreds of bucks on the press release, you could very well be disappointed, okay? So look, what's the verdict on press releases? Again, it's a mixed bag. I think if you own a law firm and you're a lawyer, you ought to do some press releases. Not doing any press releases, I think, is a mistake. You do have to attempt to get the word out, and so doing some press releases, I think, is a good thing. But you need to do it within your budget. If you're spending a bunch of money on press releases and you're expecting a bunch of clients to come rolling in from it, I think you'll probably be disappointed. And if you expect you're going to do a press release and then the newspapers and magazines and reporters are going to be calling you for comments on the press release, I think you're going to be disappointed in most instances. It has to be something very rare, okay? But getting the word out, getting some links, even though there are no follow links, back to your webpage, I think an important thing, and I think it can help, okay? But you got to do it within your budget, and you have to have your expectations right. You also have to know there's other ways to get the news out about your law firm that you might consider too. And that would be having a blog on your law firm webpage, and you could put news stuff and announcements there, right? And that's not going to cost you any money. So that's another way to get the news out. And that's definitely a good thing to do too. Another thing law firms ought to do is put the stuff on their social media platforms. So law firms ought to be synced up with social media, and you all know the big social media entities out there. Law firms ought to have a page, and when they make announcements, they should put it on their social media page. If the law firm has a lot of followers, this could be another good way to get the message out there as well versus doing a press release. No, there are some free press release services out there. I have a link to some in my article. So if you go to my article and click the link free press release services, you'll see a list of some press release services out there. So if you want to try this and not spend any money, there are free press release services out there, but just know you get what you pay for. So you're not going to get a bunch of exposure. And you can't expect that you're going to get a bunch of other news outlets to pick it up and that a bunch of people are going to read it. If it's free, it's free. If you get some clicks, great. Didn't cost you any money, but you can't expect big exposure. If you want big exposure, you probably have to do one of these paid press releases. But again, that's going to cost you some bucks. And if you don't have a lot of bucks to spare, then maybe you don't want to do it, all right? Definitely an interesting topic and one I wanted to cover here today. There's a follow-up to our episode today. Go on over to my blog, lawfirmpracticemanagementadvice.com. Read the article titled, Are Press Releases an Effective Marketing Strategy? This article will give you more information on the topic here today. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned to our next episode of Law Firm Practice Management Advice coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Law Firm Practice Management Advice Podcast with Kirk Stange. Kirk Stange is the president and founding partner of Stange Law Firm, a multi-state divorce and family law practice. For more insight on similar law firm management topics, visit his practice management advice blog at lawfirmpracticemanagementadvice.com.